Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Glad you could be here. A couple of videos ago, I did a video on how to repair a fence, and I didn't dive too deep in how to dig the post holes for the fence posts. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to use a post hole digger, a regular standard post hole digger. It's not motorized, it's not an auger. We're going to talk about how to use that to dig the holes for your fence posts. Actually, it doesn't have to be a fence post. It can be any kind of post. But today we're going to dive deeper into how to use a post hole digger. So stick around. I'll see you right after this. Okay guys, when we're talking about digging holes to put a fence post in, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can use an auger or you can use a post hole digger. How deep do you want to dig the hole? The hole should be 1/3 to 1/2 the height of the fence post. So if you have a 6-foot fence post, it should be at least 2 feet deep. All right, so post hole diggers are pretty simple tools. You have your handles, okay, right there. They're about, 4 feet long. Then you have your blades there, okay? Now, what you want to make sure of before you start digging is that the soil is not full of rocks, all right? Because even the smallest rock can obstruct the blade of the post hole digger from digging in as far as it should go. So if you do see any rocks sticking out of the ground, just pry them out of the ground if you can. If they're difficult to come up, take a steel bar or something like that and pry them out of there. And if you don't see any rocks and you hit a rock while you're digging with the post hole digger, just stop digging and do the same thing. Dig them out of there with a spade or a steel bar, like I mentioned before. That's a spade, by the way. It has the narrow tapered head to help you dig those rocks out. Now, if the soil seems a bit loose, or even if it's too hard, that could present a problem to the post hole digger digging in like it should, okay? So what you may want to do is take some water and wet the soil and leave it for a while. So when it's time to dig, the soil has some kind of mud-like consistency that will allow the post hole digger to grip it more readily and take it out of there. And don't forget to check with your utility company to see if there's any power lines or anything underground that you should avoid when using the post hole digger or any digging device. All right, guys, the first thing you want to do when using a post hole digger is you want to grip the handles of the digger, and you want to keep the handles close together like this. You don't want them like this when you thrust them in the ground. You want them like this, okay? So then you thrust them into the ground. Now you can do that several times if you have to penetrate deeper. Then once it's in the ground, spread the handles and lift the digger out of the hole. Right there, I caught a root, okay? So I want to get that root out of there. So I close the handles again and I thrust it in. Repeat the process. Hey guys, here at Calibrate Tools and DIY, we're dedicated to teaching you how to use all the tools you need to complete those DIY home improvement projects like a pro. Head on over to Calibrate.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter to keep you up to speed on all you need to get the job done. You want to use your knees, not your back. Lift with your knees. All right, so that's about 2 feet 5 inches. That's a pretty good depth for a 6-foot post. All right, guys, so if you hit more roots deeper into the hole, you can rotate the digger to cut through those roots. Then after that, you can pour your gravel in to about 6 inches high from the bottom of the hole, place your post in, make sure it's plumb and level, and then pour your concrete. All right, guys, that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of how to use a manual post hole digger. We'll talk about how to use a motorized post hole digger, also called an auger, in another video. But here's a few tips that you may want to take into consideration when using a post hole digger, whether it's motorized or manual. If you encounter embedded concrete or very large rocks underneath the soil, you may need a jackhammer to break those up in order to get as deep as you need to get, especially if you have to dig multiple holes. Also, don't forget to call the utility company and find out if there's anything underneath the soil that you need to stay clear of, because the last thing you want to do is hit a power line or something like that. Also, post hole digging can be very strenuous, especially if you're out in the heat, whether it's motorized post hole digging or manual post hole digging. If you're out there in the summer heat, you don't want to get dehydrated. So make sure you keep your refreshments close by. Also, don't forget to protect your hands. You're going to be driving that post hole digger into the ground multiple times, and if you're not wearing gloves, it can chafe your hands pretty badly, okay? So make sure you protect your hands because you only got 2 of them. And if it's something you got to do on your regular 9 to 5, you're probably going to be digging multiple holes. I'm talking about a lot of them, okay? So you got to make sure you take care of yourself out there. Guys, don't forget to go to calibrate.com and sign up for the monthly newsletter so you can get great tips on all your DIY and home improvement projects. See you next time.